Welcome to Films from the Phantom Zone, your podcast about failed and forgotten comic book movies, where we watch a forgotten superhero movie and decide, does this belong in the Phantom Zone to be forgotten for forever, or out and about for everyone to rewatch and remember fondly? My name's Arnaldo, I'm your host, and I'm joined by...
Berto.
Berto, what movie are we watching today?
Doctor Strange from 1978.
Yes, Doctor Strange, a TV movie pilot on CBS from 78. This is as forgotten as it comes.
Yep.
This is something I did not know existed at all until we started this podcast and I looked up all the movies. Like, I think I had heard of all the other obscure Marvel ones, but this one didn't
like the Captain America.
Yeah, like those, your Wonder Woman, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Had no idea this was a thing. But recently, we have just covered, we did a two-part Tom Cruise-a-thon, two-part sci-fi Tom Cruise movie marathon. We did Edge of Tomorrow and Oblivion.
Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And those movies are really good.
Yeah.
And so those episodes are out. Check those out. We also did Keep or Cancel on Tom Cruise 2 times. Once as an actor and once as a person / Scientologist. That was a lot of fun. You can probably guess which versions we kept and canceled, but
yeah,
we dedicated probably an hour to Tom Cruise altogether. So, like, just on Keep or Cancel. So, it does look like a pornographic film.
It does. It looks like he's about to, like, give it to her.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other way around if you've seen this movie.
Yeah,
but
she's going to give it to him.
Yes. We're talking about the poster for this movie does not look like, it really does look like a 70s porno.
Or like a porno that's made to look like a 70s.
Like a parody.
Yeah.
Also, you play the music too. The music is not very it's very of its time, which then like now is kind of, for better or worse, known as like porn music, you know?
Yeah.
Back on topic, let's get going. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover some background information, our initial expectations. We're going to recap the plot of the movie. We're going to analyze it to the best of our ability before we move on to Keep or Cancel segment of the show, where we talk about the stars of the movie. We decide if we're going to keep them or cancel them. Today, we're going to talk about Jessica Walter, who's in this movie.
She's pretty much the only like big name and, well, recognizable.
There's one more, and we'll get to it. And then we'll decide if this movie belongs in the Phantom Zone or not. So, are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go.
So, a couple things also before we get started. Number one, we are streaming on Twitch live. We record all these episodes live in front of a live studio chat. So if you like the show, you want to be a part of it, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we record the show with everybody. We talk to the chat. If we're not doing that, we're playing a video game. Today just happens to be a Friday because we canceled our stream. But that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but mostly Monday nights. That's twitch.tv/filmsfrompz. And then the second thing I want to say is that we have a second podcast called Where's Mephisto? Where we look for Mephisto in all kinds of things. Mostly streaming television.
Yeah. Well,
and
Mephisto is in television. He's controlling everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's honestly, like, you think about network TV.
Yeah, he's there.
It's evil. Like, that's all Mephisto's work.
Waiting a week between episodes?
Oh, God. Commercials? YouTube Red?
I'm not paying for that shit.
That is on our Patreon, along with a few other things. You can find that link below. And if you're interested in listening to us some more between weeks, that's how you would do it. Other than that, let's get started. Berto, initial expectations, Berto. What did you even know about this movie?
Absolutely nothing.
Me too.
It's about Doctor Strange, sort of.
The only thing I like I said at the top of the show, I learned about it when we looked up this film for purposes of this podcast, when we assembled the list.
Specifically for this podcast.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why we know about it.
Yeah, and then even then, the only thing I knew is when I looked at the poster. And like we just said, we were talking in the chat about how this poster looks like a cheap parody porn film.
Yeah, also it's kind of hard to find this movie.
Yes, we had to buy it on DVD. It's around here somewhere. I put it
I think it's on the shelf right there.
I think it was like $6 on Amazon. And then you can keep it forever, so it's like not that much more than renting, honestly.
Yeah, you can watch it as many times as you want.
Because we all know that's what you people want to do.
Yeah. I actually bought the Captain America movies.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
So I thought this was going to be... I don't know what I thought. I think I thought it was going to be exactly what it is. I think I would have thought it was going to be worse before we had watched other things from this era. You know, like Wonder Woman and Captain America. Now I kind of have a feel for like what TV was then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it very much just feels like 70s TV.
Yeah, it kind of tempered my expectations, I think, a bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some background. I don't have a lot because it's like... do we talk about Doctor Strange the character? Because for one, I don't know that much about him. I've never read a Doctor Strange comic. Have you?
I have not either. Most of what I know from him is from like the animated movie that came out a while back, and then
Oh, did you watch that?
yeah,
Oh, was it good?
it was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
And then MCU.
Yeah. So he debuted in Strange Tales number 110. I love that there was 109 Strange Tales before Doctor Strange was even involved.
That's crazy.
I would love to know what those comics covered. Because, back in the day, like, they would do all these. They still sort of do.
They were like serials, right?
Yeah, that's serial anthology style comics where, like Strange Tales or Tales to Astonish or, like, Detective Comics, all of those, they were, like, introduce a different character, a different story every week, and then whatever stuck, then that got its own series,
Okay.
So I'm like, if just like Strange Tales on its own sounds fun. But 109 stories before even Doctor Strange was ever involved, like that seems
Yeah.
like a good time. So that's Strange Tales 110 in 1963, written by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. His origin is exactly the same as from the movie. The 2016 movie Doctor Strange does it like beat for beat.
So the animated movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, he is a very...
He's a douchebag.
Egotistical surgeon. And then he gets humbled quite a bit when he gets in a car accident, breaks his hands, can't perform surgery, too proud to teach, spends all his money, looking for some sort of cure, some sort of a fix, ends up going out to like the Himalayas in search of like what he hears is, the Ancient One who can cure him, meets the Ancient One. The Ancient One doesn't want anything to do with him because he's not humble enough, right?
Because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, and then he ends up sticking around becoming a student, and then the other student was Mordo, and then Mordo betrays Ancient One, and then eventually Doctor Strange becomes Doctor Strange, right?
And then he becomes a porn star.
And then he becomes a porn star in this movie. Very nice, Caleb.
He looks like a porn star.
It does.
It's the mustache.
I've always thought that when I looked at this poster. It takes, the thing is too in this movie, it takes a while for you to sink into this is what people look like in the 70s. Like this was like people had hair like this.
It's just what people looked like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd.
But Doctor Strange in the comics, he is mostly known for having a bunch of cool stuff, right? He's kind of defined by his stuff.
His like ancient magical artifacts.
His like relics and artifacts. Yeah. So he has like the book of Vishanti, which is the counterpart to the Darkhold. So it's like the book of like good magic.
Whereas the Darkhold is like
dark
magic.
Yeah. There's the Eye of Agamotto, which is very it's very well known now after the movie. It's a little amulet he's got on his necklace.
All right.
The eye has its own superpowers. There's also the Orb of Agamotto,
which is different.
It's a different thing. It's not inside the eye, which is what I thought at first. The Orb of Agamotto is like a crystal ball, and he can contact Agamotto through it, like the actual spirit.
Whoa,
which is crazy. And then there's the Cloak of Levitation. So it's his cloak of levitation.
It's how he
enables him to fly. I don't think it was ever sentient until the movie. I think the movie made it sentient.
I like that though.
They did. Yep, so smart. I thought it was so smart. I love in the movies that he can just like tell the cloak, "Hey, go do this thing," and the cloak goes and like
it's like his little assistant.
Yeah, it's like a video game when you got a little AI. You tell them to do something, they go do that thing. You do the first thing. Divide and conquer. Some of his friends. There's obviously the Ancient One, Wong, his assistant. In the comics, I don't think he's anything more than assistant. I don't think he's another like magician, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, that's unfortunate because he's great in the movies.
Yeah, I think the movies. I mean, you got to kind of like you're making the movie. You have to step up the stereotype of like, here's my Asian valet slash manservant.
Yeah.
Then there's Clea and Night Nurse. So Clea in the comics is his wife, who's in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, she's also the niece of Dormammu. She's not fully human.
That's odd.
It's kind of crazy. She ends up becoming like his protege student, and then they end up getting married.
Oh, so that is kind of in line with this movie.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I think he's friends with Ghost Rider, too, on occasion.
Damn it.
On occasion, they work together to fight supernatural threats.
Weren't they in Doctor Strange and Midnight Suns for a minute?
He might have been. I know, like, the main group is, like, Blade, Ghost Rider, and Morbius.
Midnight Suns, right here. Boom.
Oh, he was a part of them.
He's been in a bunch of teams besides obviously the Avengers. He was in the Defenders. He was one of the founding members of the Defenders.
That's cool.
Yeah. The Illuminati, obviously. Infinity Watch. I'm not sure of that group. New Avengers. That's when he kind of comes back and like after he wasn't like he was kind of written off for a little bit. And then Midnight Suns.
Oh shit. Cool.
Doctor Strange. 2 Ghost Riders. Werewolf by Night. Morbius. Hellstrom. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, like the little supernatural team.
And Night Nurse. Night Nurse.
Claire.
No. Claire.
That's who it was in the MCU.
I know. In the MCU, in the Marvel show, or sorry, the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Claire is a original character. She is a combination of 2 characters, one of which is Rachel McAdams' character. What's her name? That's Night Nurse.
I always forget her name. I always just say Rachel McAdams. Christine Palmer.
Yeah. So Christine Palmer. So Night Nurse in the comics is Christine Palmer, introduced in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
But for the movie, they turned her into another surgeon.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And his love interest.
And his love interest. She was a later love interest after Clea.
Okay. Whoa, so is this movie more in line with the comics than the MCU movie?
I guess a little bit. But moving on to this movie, a little bit of background. This was another TV movie pilot, of which we've seen several by now. Stan Lee actually served as a consultant who recounted this as a positive experience, and I have a quote here. I probably had the most input into that one. I've become good friends with the writer / producer Phil DeGuer. How do you say his name?
I don't know.
DeGuer, probably.
I don't
Phil
know.
DeGuer. I was pleased with Doctor Strange and The Incredible Hulk. I think that Doctor Strange would have done much better than it did in the ratings, except that it aired opposite of Roots.
Oh, yeah, that's a very popular show.
Yeah, that's probably a dumb slot that they put that in. Those were the only experiences I've had with live action television. Doctor Strange and The Incredible Hulk were fine. Captain America was a bit of a disappointment, and Spider-Man was a total nightmare.
Wow, I liked Captain America.
I wonder why. Well, the thing is, he probably also mentioning his experience with it. Like,
oh, maybe like behind the scenes it sucked.
Maybe they weren't nice to him. Like, they were kind of like,
get out of the way, old man.
Yeah, like
middle-aged man.
Yeah. Like maybe they're like, we don't give a shit about your comics. We're doing a whole different thing. For a long time, like.
This is TV, baby.
Yeah, like comic book movies, they didn't care about the source material. They would change whatever.
Which, like, then why adapt it?
Exactly. Like, why? So I wonder if that, because the first thing he says is that I got the most input with Doctor Strange and Hulk.
Which might be why there was stuff, like, actually pulled from the comics.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And this feels very earnest. Like, it means, like, it's...
Yeah. Does that make it good, though?
No, but it believes in itself, This aired on CBS, same network making The Amazing Spider-Man and The Incredible Hulk, those TV shows that we will do eventually.
I think Spider-Man actually has 3 movies, technically.
I think they ended up doing 3 movies and several seasons, and then The Incredible Hulk also has several seasons, and then 3 movies to cap it off.
I feel like I should watch The Incredible Hulk show.
Yeah. So I think this was all them trying to do a Marvel universe before the MCU,
Yeah, because there were crossovers, right?
There were crossovers, sorta. I think in The Incredible Hulk, they did, they introduced new characters like Thor and Daredevil.
Okay.
But I think those were kind of backdoor pilots to see if
Did he have a Spider-Man crossover?
I don't think there was.
Huh.
Even though they were both on CBS.
Okay.
And being made by Universal.
They totally could have very easily done that.
Yeah, and I think they could have done the same with Captain America. I think Marvel had a deal with Universal and CBS for these TV shows, so they could have done crossovers if they wanted to. And I feel like maybe this was them going like, well, let's just try to make a bunch of TV shows, and if they all do very well, maybe we'll do a big crossover event. You know, that'd have been fun.
Yeah.
All of these like old ridiculous things together.
I'd watch it.
That Captain America and that Spider-Man and this Doctor Strange, you know.
It'd be fun.
It'd be interesting. Of the Moon Knight book, it was good but a little confusing. The Constantine movie is really good, but he's not really like he's in the comics.
That's true. That one's more like a supernatural thriller, whereas in the comics, Constantine's more of like a...
detective, right?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't the TV show
like
do it better?
Dark Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, the TV show does it great.
Oh, wow.
I never watched the show, though.
No. Maybe if they cancel it, we can do it.
I think they did cancel it. Well, but then he got like... I think the CW bought the rights to the show and then used his character in Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Which Moon Knight are you reading? Do you know the year?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. First volume of like which run?
Like 1980?
Because that one is a little confusing. But so is the 2006 one because there's a lot of like...
Are you reading the one with the 2015 one or whatever? The one from...
Not yet. I really want to.
I heard that's good. 06. Yeah, that's the one we're reading.
That one starts off kind of weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you kind of got to like piece it together as you go.
Kind of dropped off.
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh.
I'm like 2-3 issues behind you according to Marvel Unlimited.
I need to start reading it more. I just haven't been reading anything, so...
All right, cool. Let's get into the plot. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, plot. There's words on the screen. So...
Yeah.
Let me just read them. Because they're mostly nonsense. Anyway, there's a barrier that separates the known from the unknown. Beyond this threshold lies a battleground where forces of good and evil are in eternal conflict. The fate of mankind hangs in the balance and awaits the outcome. In every age, some of us are... Sorry, I'm laughing because that's when I thought the words were over, and then it's like another paragraph, and I'm like, fuck. And in every age of time, some of us are called upon to join the battle. That's it.
I normally, like, I don't mind, like, an opening crawl type deal.
But this
like,
does
what the hell were they saying?
This does nothing. This is a bunch of nonsense words.
This would have been better as a narration.
But, yeah, maybe during, like, some of this kind of scenery in the beginning or something. But, like, I'm like, okay, barrier that separates known from unknown. Okay, beyond this is a battleground, good and evil. Okay, just a bunch of nothing. It's just
so
like,
there's good people and there's also bad people.
It's like you should know that there are forces of evil and forces of good somewhere out there. Cool. Like, what do you got? What else you got?
There's a point too where he asked Doctor Strange, like, "Do you believe in evil?" And he goes, "Nope."
Well, yeah, because Doctor Strange is very logical. We'll get to it, but anyway. Morgan Le Fay is commanded by the Nameless One, a dark entity sock puppet. He tells her that she has 3 days to destroy an old sorcerer before he can pass the power to his successor. I love that this man has waited 500 years, but gives Morgan Le Fay 3 days.
Yeah, what the fuck has he been doing?
It's just like, it starts off, and by the way, this is a very 70s, if you didn't watch this movie, which you probably didn't, let me just set the mood. It is a very 70s TV budget movie, right? So like whatever you're picturing now, that's exactly what it looks like. Like it's like a empty dark room with some props and like a fog machine.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of like red lights.
And the Nameless One looks creepy because it looks so bad.
It looks like a sock puppet, and the only thing that moves is his tiny little mouth.
But it's like a giant sock puppet.
Well, it's filmed from a perspective that it makes it look,
which makes it look creepy, but not in a good way.
It's one of those, like, I wonder what, because I mean, it's like the people making this are obviously competent human beings, right? And they're doing the best with what they got, but they doesn't look like they had that much to work with.
You have 3 days to...
Also, the guy, and a point I made to talk about later, The guy voicing the nameless one seems to be the best actor in this. He's going in 110%.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty decent
He's
voice
great.
actor.
It's just weird to see it coming out of that puppet.
It's unnerving.
But I love that they've been sitting around for 500 years and not doing shit. And then he's like, you've got 3 days. Like,
that's not fair.
No, and even this man has been living for a long time, but
she kind of got a bad deal here.
She got the low she got the low end of this deal. But Morgan Le Fay is from Arthurian legend.
Yes.
Like Arthur's witch buddy.
Is she
more or
good
less
or bad?
She's both.
Okay.
So depending on the version of the Arthurian tale, she is either good or bad or morally ambiguous.
I really want to read like Arthurian stuff, so if anybody knows like a definitive version to read,
there's a couple books that are considered
great.
Like definitive because like they did all the trouble of collecting all the folklore and putting it into like some sort of text. When I was in high school, they made us read The Once and Future King.
Okay. Is that the one that's like 3,000 pages?
Yes. Incredibly long. It's written in 4 chunks, so it's basically 4 books put together. It's also not easy to read at all, and I was...
No, the English is like broken and stuff, right?
Well, this was considered one of the easier to read ones. It's not that old. It's considered one of the easier to read ones, but even then, I forget who wrote it because this is not something I prepared. But it's still like the author just kind of goes through incredible lengths to like describe everything on like in the room and hear the lyrics of the song. It's very Tolkien like. Okay. Yeah. If you can read Tolkien, then you might be able to read this.
Reading Tolkien is a little. It's effort.
Yeah. It's like, oh, do I need
to know what the door looked like on the Hobbit hole?
Because I've only read The Hobbit, but even then I'm like, God, like I feel like
he's so detailed.
I feel like I'm gonna get quizzed at the end of the chapter. Like, remember all of these like lineages.
How many imperfections were on Bilbo Baggins' southern-facing window?
You need to know the whole family tree. Like, this is important information before we move on. It does tell you the whole family.
It's like the Bible.
Well, I mean, and Tolkien was very religious. Like that's
true. That's true.
This is his version of like. I mean, we're way off topic, but yeah, Lord of the Rings and Silmarillion and Hobbit.
Because there's a few chapters in the Bible are just naming families.
Yeah, he gets all of that from that, and it's all his version of like.
It's so much to read
of like biblical texts, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Morgan Le Fay, I like the fact that they used a character from not the comics, but from something you might be well aware of already.
Yeah,
you know?
Arthurian legend.
Like it's the same one. After her adventures with King Arthur, she's been in prison for 500 years.
I guess.
And here she is now.
And she's bad.
Cut to New York City in the 1970s. At the Sanctum Sanctorum, Wong finds his master, the old sorcerer, who tells him Morgan Le Fay will come for him in 3 days. He tells him to go find Stephen Strange. Dr. Strange, a psychiatry resident, arrives to his hospital and awkwardly flirts with the nurse, who scolds him for being late and clearly having just been with a woman.
Whoa, he really gets around.
Okay.
He is a porn star.
Yeah, actually. Let me ask you something here. What is their deal? Because there's a line where she goes... Because they're flirting, right? And because he has lipstick on his mouth and he smells like perfume. She's like, you were just with a woman and you need to be on time or whatever. And she cleans the lipstick off his mouth. And he says something about like, well, you know, we can't be in love because we work together. And she goes, I never said anything about being in love. I said about being lovers.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, making love, she said.
Making love, yeah. Is she saying that she's down to fuck? As long as they don't fall in love, and he's just now realizing this?
And he has to show up on time.
He has to show up to work on time, which is a big problem for him in this movie, by the way.
I guess she's saying that.
I watched this scene twice because I could not understand what she meant by that.
I guess he's just supposed to be irresistible.
Well, right, obviously. Like, that's clear as day in this movie, but everybody in this movie wants to fuck him.
But, like, why?
I mean, he's fairly handsome. And also, I was distracted a lot by how much he looks like Benedict Cumberbatch. Did you notice that?
A little bit.
He has a cleft chin. He's got kind of a long face. He's tall and slender. Like, if you get rid of the mustache and his curly fro, He looks like Benedict Cumberbatch.
He looks like a 70s Doctor Strange.
He really looks the part, honestly.
Good casting here. His acting's like,
He's okay. He's all right.
He's fine.
It's Peter Hooten.
He's better than Reb Brown.
He's much better than Reb Brown, actually. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I liked Reb.
He tried his best.
He was very charming in a way.
When we couldn't see his microphone or the boom.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess he can fuck whoever he wants in this, but they really didn't know how to film in the dark back then. The scenes in New York City, the whole screen's black. Like all the time.
Yep.
And then you just see like taillights. And then that's it. There's also
This is nighttime.
Yeah. It reminded me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the beginning where they show like New York City and they got the music going,
It's
you know?
just dark.
Even though they're like 12 years apart or something like that.
And pizza. Lots of pizza.
Also, they showed Times Square for a second, and there are no LED screens, which is crazy.
I mean, Times Square's been around for a while.
No, I know, but it's crazy to think that like that, not that long ago, there were none of those screens before. It was just posters.
I think we get a shot of New York skyline. We see the World Trade Center also.
We do, yeah. We see the World Trade Center. I mean, the World Trade Center was built in like the 60s.
Yeah.
So
it was fairly new at the time.
Yeah. Morgan Le Fay arrives to New York City and stalks a young woman. She's spotted by the old man, and they engage in a telepathic conversation, exchanging threats. She takes over the body of the young woman and pushes the old man over a bridge and onto a street. He miraculously survives and limps back to Bleecker Street, using his magic to heal himself. There, he admits to Wong that he had provoked Morgan into attacking, but didn't foresee her using the lady's body. He asks Wong to find the girl, that she will be important.
Jesus Christ. Like, she just throws him off the bridge.
That was a pretty good shot. It made me wonder.
It
like,
looked real.
It looked so real. I'm like, how do they do this? Like, they had there's probably like a bunch of mattresses like right underneath there. Like, it probably wasn't a real bridge.
You think she actually threw a person off the bridge?
No, I mean, it makes you wonder how they do the stunt, especially in the 70s. You know,
Yeah.
where like, did they have the money to recreate this bridge somewhere and take it somewhere else? Like, I don't know. It was pretty good.
Seemed like a very low budget pilot. So
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I like that, he's like limping the whole way, and then he puts his hand on his hip, and then there's like glowy lights, and then
he can walk again.
And then he walks, This movie has a lot of like, oh no, I let her beat me between these two characters. I think his name is Thomas, the old man.
Is he supposed to be like the ancient one?
No. The ancient one we meet later in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, technically. Which is stupid, because in the comics, he would be the ancient one.
Right, he's the one that teaches strange.
Like the actual sorcerer is the ancient one, not some weird entity. And this is just some other placeholder, So they split the ancient one to two characters in this movie.
It's simpler if you keep it as one.
Right? For the most of the movie, I thought he was the ancient one.
I did too.
Until the end.
Even at the end, I was like, well, but he's the ancient one, right?
No, because at the end, Thomas introduces Strange to the ancient one. Anyway.
No, talking in third person.
Yeah, but him and Morgan, anytime Morgan beats him, later he's like, oh no, I let her do that. You think a woman could beat me?
This is the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely not. Stephen Strange finishes his rounds for the day and relaxes to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which the girl is also watching.
It's a good movie, actually. Have you seen it?
I've never seen it.
It's actually really funny.
I've heard it's funny. Like, there's Dracula's involved in it too, right?
Yeah.
She goes to bed with her jeans and sneakers on. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
She just climbs in bed with her shoes on. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
She's
psychopath. Like, this is low budget. No one even told her to take her shoes off. And in her dreams, she relives her attempted murder of the old man, while Strange has the same vision in his dream. She wakes up, runs to the elevator, hits all the buttons, sees Morgan, and flees outside. She runs into the street where she's nearly hit by a taxi cab. What?
Hitting all the buttons makes you stay in an elevator longer.
Why does she do that? Like, she's fleeing, and she goes, and hits all the buttons. And then, like, Because I think she's on the third floor. The second floor, door opens. There's Morgan Le Fay. And she's like, ah! And then the door closes again. Like, you didn't have to hit that button.
Hit the first floor. It only has to open once.
And then you can run away.
Yeah.
God. It was not clear at all that she has, like, amnesia until she's in the hospital, which I thought was...
And she's like, I don't remember anything.
Morgan Le Fay is played by Jessica Walter, who we're doing in Keep Her Cancel. And I think she was... Hold on, let me do the math real quick. She was 37 in this movie.
Oh, she doesn't look that old.
She looks
great for her age.
really good.
Yeah.
I was like, she is hot.
Blake said that too when he walked out and saw me watch it. He goes, whoa, she's hot.
Yeah, honestly. I was like, oh, wow.
I said, that's the mom from Arrested Development. He goes, what?
Lucille.
Lucille Bluth.
Anyway. The Abbott and Costello really threw me off. I thought there was going to be some significance to that.
That's just what they watch.
It's just what they were watching at the time. The young lady is taken to the hospital psychiatric ward, where she's treated by Dr. Strange, who recognizes her from his visions. She's forgotten who she is and is terrified of falling asleep, where she believes Morgan Le Fay will get her. Morgan Le Fay watches Strange from within the hospital and notices his ring, which bears a symbol of the Sanctum Sanctorum. Dr. Strange saves the girl from an angry nurse who wants to drug her up, who just assumed he signed for it.
Don't worry, she's been working at the hospital for over 20 years.
I love that she gets mad at him.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you assumed wrong.
She is just assumed that Dr. Strange, she's like the old nurse in this, whatever. She assumed that the doctor prescribed her sedatives, and he didn't, and then she gets mad at him. She fucked up.
Yeah.
You can't fuck up and then get mad at your boss. And just be like, well, I've been working here a long time and I want to sedate this girl.
And he's like, yes, I'm well aware you've been working here for a long time. He's kind of a hotshot doctor that nobody listens to.
Yeah. Well, he's young too. He's a resident.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like a little sub drama here.
Like Doogie Howser.
Yeah, he's not that young. There's a lot of drama here in the hospital because there's like 4 or 5 extra characters that really aren't important, but they're in this hospital portion of the movie.
Yeah.
Which feels like its own movie.
Like the senior doctor?
There's a senior doctor. There's some other doctor who has a line out of nowhere, and I was like, why are you talking? We didn't even make you.
You're not part of the magical world.
They had a whole exchange. There's several nurses we meet. I don't know.
And we'll even have the dumbass surgeon that he gets to like be mean to. Like in the 2016 movie.
Yeah. Well, he was nice to that other doctor.
Yeah. He was very nice to him.
The other doctor's like, maybe you should just calm down.
And he's like, you're right.
Morgan Le Fay tries using a black cat to enter the Sanctum Sanctorum, but the cat is stopped by a magical spell. At the hospital, Strange's colleagues disagree with his treatment of the Jane Doe. The old man enters the hospital and does a Jedi mind trick on the head nurse to visit both the girl and Strange. In his office, Strange admits to the old man to having seen them both in his dream. The old man introduces himself as Thomas Lindmer and explains that the dream was real and that he was actually pushed over the bridge but survived. Strange questions how this is possible, and Thomas explains that they both have a psychic bond. Thomas demonstrates his magic using another Jedi mind trick and invites him to Bleecker Street. Dr. Taylor, Strange's superior, gives the girl who we now know as Clea a tranquilizer, which inadvertently puts her in a coma.
So, Jedi mind tricks were still new at this time.
It would have been real hot because Star Wars had just come out the year prior. So it's super clear that they're like, hey, you know that thing in Star Wars? Let's just do it here.
Because he literally goes like...
He waves his hand. It's the same exact thing. He waves his hand and he says words to the person he's tricking, and that person
repeats the words. Yeah.
That's the Jedi mind trick
it's literally the Jedi mind trick
as invented by Star Wars.
Yes. Do you notice on the business card it doesn't say Bleecker Street, it says Bleecker Court?
Yeah. I actually looked into that because I'm weird. Bleecker Court is a real court that is attached to Bleecker Street. The real street in New York City.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the West Village, I think. Because I was like, oh, they changed it. That's weird. They did not change it. I guess the Sanctum is on Bleecker Court and Bleecker Street, or
it
whatever.
intersects.
Yeah, something like that. On the business card, though, I love the symbol was in it.
And he has a ring with that symbol on it.
Yeah, but it's in, you know how like business cards sometimes are raised?
Oh, yeah.
The raised part is the symbol. And I was like, that's a great detail. Like for
Which
a movie,
means somebody actually created that.
yeah, for like a movie like this, that's a great prop.
Yeah.
And you guys made like that whole thing. Benedict Cumberbatch plays both Doctor Strange and Sherlock Holmes, and their respective addresses are 22 Bleecker Street and 221 Baker Street. I constantly mix them up. 21 Bleecker Street. What I think is funny about that is like that's just a coincidence because both those addresses are baked into those universes.
Yeah, they're both from the source material.
Yeah. So it's just a coincidence that he's playing both. And that like the addresses are like significant to them, those characters too, because they're always telling them like, all right, go to this place. Like you ask any like comic book fan, they can tell you like, you know, Doctor Strange's address, which isn't a thing for
What
most.
about the Baxter building?
Yeah, but it's like a real address. Like you can visit 21 Bleecker Street.
And it's not the Sanctum.
No, it's just a building. But people go there and take pictures and they're like, this is where Doctor Strange is.
Just not in our universe.
Right. So we're like 35 minutes into the movie now, and there's a whole lot of hospital drama in this part of the movie.
This is the part I kind of liked, too. Is that weird?
And I guess we'll talk about it when we get to like the analysis portion, but like the movie spends a lot of time in the hospital, and it's almost like a sub movie. Like this is a big subplot within the movie, you know? Whereas if this was like, I don't know, it's just like it switches gears once he finally kind of becomes a sorcerer and starts doing magic stuff.
I think it becomes more boring after he gets the magic, honestly.
Part of me thinks that they knew that going into this movie. They're like, we don't have the effects, like the budget to like do too much,
Yeah.
you know, magic stuff. So we kind of have to
So let's
focus
make it a
on
drama.
We have to focus on making kind of like a hospital drama because that's what this is. Like I said, we meet 2 nurses and like 3 doctors, a lot of characters. There's a lot of drama about like whether or not to put this girl on like sedatives or.
And then the doctor does it anyway.
He's like, I know what I'm doing.
And it's like, oh, well, she's in a fucking coma now,
yeah,
so good
and then
job,
that doctor
idiot.
looked real dumb. And Strange is yelling at him.
Yeah, Strange is yelling at his boss.
But also there's like they're in meetings all the time too. And
they're like, you're late to the meeting. He's like, I was with a patient. Like, sorry I'm late.
They criticize him a lot for like being nice to his patients.
Yeah, what the fuck kind of hospital is this? He lets the lady stay there overnight. He's like, do you really think we needed to use that bed?
What I don't understand is why do they want empty beds so badly? Because at the end of the movie, they have another meeting. There's too many meetings in this movie. Meetings are boring, people. Anyway, and they're like, oh, we have like 4 empty beds. It's the highest we've had this month. Great job, everybody. It's like, why do you want empty beds? Don't you make money on people using those beds?
Yeah, what?
Because hospitals are businesses and they're treated like businesses. They're not treated like, oh, you know, we should really help people. And if the hospital's empty, then we did our job. No. They want the hospital full.
Yeah. It's like in the Pokemon games, they go to the Pokemon Center and they say, we hope to see you again soon.
I've never thought about that, actually.
Oh, you hope my Pokemon get knocked the fuck out again? That's what hospitals are like. Not this, where it's like, oh, thank God there's nobody in the hospital today.
You know what my favorite thing about Poke Centers are?
What?
That in the TV show, they made all of the nurses, all the nurse joys, look exactly the same. And it's a running gag because obviously in the games, they didn't make a different sprite for every single nurse. It's just the same nurse every time.
It's just nurse.
And all the Poke Centers look exactly the same. So they're like, let's make fun of this in the show.
Because the show did come after the game.
Yeah. And like every time they go to a new one, it's just like the same nurse. She's like, I transferred here now. Or no, you met my cousin, actually.
Yeah, they're like all like related. And
they're all
same
related.
with all the Officer Jennies, too.
Yeah, for the same exact reason. I thought that was great. Anyway, let's move on. Morgan follows Strange walking down the street and tries to cause an accident, telekinetically sending a little black boy on his bike in front of a city bus.
That's kind of fucked up.
That's a hate crime, first of all.
Yeah, Jesus, Morgan.
Strange saves him and continues to the Sanctum to meet with Thomas. There, the sorcerer reveals that he and Strange's father knew each other because they realized that Stephen was gifted even as a baby. He explains he's a sorcerer of the hermetic arts, which take the fundamental forces of the universe and directs them. Through history, it's also been known as alchemy, sorcery, and magic.
That's not what alchemy is.
No, it's not. Alchemy is completely different, for sure. But you don't know if he's maybe also doing alchemy, like he's making potions and
he's drinking piss,
changing.
And dying. Because that's what alchemists actually did.
Well, no, they drank metals and shit
and piss
and died. Because they thought they were changing metals to other things.
They killed themselves accidentally all the time.
Real noble people. He believes the car accident that killed Stephen's parents was intended for Stephen, but Stephen instinctually chose not to go that day. The whole, throw the little black boy in front of the bus part.
Hate crime.
That obviously, but it doesn't do anything. It just feels like filler. I think it was just for a commercial break, Also,
yeah, why was she trying to cause an accident in the first place? Why was she trying to kill this boy?
I think she's trying to kill Strange.
Why not just make Strange walk in front of a bus? She can control people.
He would fall, yeah, right? So he can follow the little boy in front of the bus or whatever.
Instead, he stops the little boy from getting killed and just keeps on walking.
It does feel like it's like a commercial cliffhanger, though. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, like, oh no, is he gonna die?
No, he's not. Moving on.
Find out after these messages.
Here's some things I really liked. I like the Sanctum Sanctorum. I like the set. The house looked really cool. It looked very creepy and old on the inside. I like
a spooky...
Yeah, it's very spooky haunted house kind of feel.
Yeah.
I like the big, heavy stucco walls and arches, a lot of mirrors and books and stuff. It's a good set.
It's probably the best set in the movie.
Also, half the movie set in there.
Yeah.
I probably the room next door is where they filmed all
the hell stuff.
Yeah, all the interdimension stuff.
Just dark and fog machines.
Yeah. I like this little conversation that they're having too about. He's like, yeah, I'm a sorcerer, and Doctor Strange is like, well, I'm a doctor. I don't believe in any of this bullshit.
And he's like, oh, but wait, you're gifted.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier, like he said, Thomas asks him explicitly, do you believe in evil? And he's like, no, I don't believe in evil as like an entity. I believe that like people might be, people might do bad things, but that's not evil. It's not like this otherworldly.
But it ain't good.
No. But he's saying like there isn't like
he doesn't think it's like an otherworldly thing.
Force.
Yeah.
It's like there's force that like is causing evil.
He thinks
or whatever.
It's just morality.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like people and like free will and all these things. He's very logical. He's a doctor, and I do like that kind of.
Well, because that's how Strange is in the MCU as well, and the comics at first.
Right. I like that dichotomy there where he is, and it is the source material. Obviously, like Stan Lee was pretty smart when he said, if we're going to have a sorcerer, let's make him a doctor.
That doesn't believe in sorcery at all.
Like a scientist turned magician.
Which is cool. It's a cool merging of worlds.
Yeah, it's a great character design. So, yeah, no, all this movie did was stick to that. But it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I liked his kind of reluctance because it would be very easy for this, kind of old cheap movie to be like, and then I believed in sorcery and then I became Doctor Strange.
Well, he's only reluctant for like a second.
No, he's reluctant. One later on in the movie too.
Like 3 scenes?
Yeah. Well, he also has been demonstrated magic a few times now. And now he's like, kind of like, wait a second,
Is this real?
Yeah. Obviously, they don't do the broken hands thing in this movie. Which
kind of sucks.
Well, making Doctor Strange desperate because of his broken hands, like that is super smart. And here it's just kind of like, he doesn't really have that much reason to go with it,
There's like, hey, what I just showed you, that's magic. And he's like...
Okay.
All right. Guess I'm in.
What if you're lying? He gets asked like a couple times if he wants to learn more. And the first time he's like, yes, I absolutely do want to learn more. And then afterwards he's like, no, I don't want to know about my talents anymore because it's going to challenge my like scientific...
My beliefs.
Objectivity, I think is what he says. Which is a fair point, but...
Yeah. Which, like, the opposite is in the MCU version where the Ancient One shows him, like, another dimension. He's like, all right, you need to teach me.
Well, he goes through, like, 20 dimensions. He has quite a trip.
What's in that tea?
Yeah. I said this earlier. This is like 45 minutes into a movie that's an hour and a half long.
We're already more than halfway through the movie.
Yeah, it takes, like, it sounds like I'm in, like, the first act still of a movie. We're more than halfway through. It takes way too long to get here. And like I said, I liked all the medical drama stuff, but still, like, this isn't Doctor Strange the medical drama. This is a Sorcerer Supreme, you know?
But there's Doctor in the title, so
well,
people might get confused.
Thomas does magic on Stephen's ring before returning it to him. He tells him that the ring will protect him in his journey through the astral plane as he searches for Clea and returns her to her body. Yeah, I forgot to mention that her coma, like, in her coma...
She's like an astral plane.
Yeah,
like,
she's in another dimension.
Projecting.
Like, Morgan took her, and now she's in another dimension. And she needs to be saved, and that's pretty much the only reason Stephen's involved in any of this. Stephen travels through the dimensions in a kaleidoscope effect. It's exactly what you're thinking. He's just floating in it for a while, and the music's going. Morgan sends a demon, Balzaroth, to find him. Doctor Strange flies to Clea, takes her hand, but they're separated by the demon. Strange recites the spell Thomas taught him and sends Balzaroth away. He and Clea reunite, and they continue flying back to our world, where Stephen returns her spirit to the body. I can't remember if this is the because there's another creature later. One of these creature designs is really good. Like, the costume looked really good. Is it this one? He's like he's like black, and he's...
It might be this one where, like, the eyes look like really monster. Creepy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I was like, oh, that was good. They should have used
this is the one puppet. That told her, it's like, oh, you're gonna wish you were dead because I'm gonna take your youth away. And she's like, no, not my youth.
This is the one?
Yeah, he turns her like old for like a second.
That's the old one. That's the main. That's the sock puppet.
Oh, isn't this a scene where that happens though?
No, it's at the end of the movie.
No, he does it here, and then because she showed up again, she looked young. No, that's the end of the movie.
But she's always talking to. She only reports back to the nameless one.
Yeah.
Who's the sock puppet?
You're right. That's different. This is him saying like,
this
all right,
is a creature she controls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But my point was, his like costume was way better than the nameless one. This should have just been the nameless one.
Why is it two different characters?
Well, because this is a servant of her, of Morgan.
Oh.
Anyway.
This movie's weird.
Yeah, I love that all it took was for Doctor Strange to recite that one thing, and then he was like, in the name of something, like, and something, be gone. And then
it's like, it worked.
Oh no, you said the thing, now I have to leave.
Swipe or no swiping.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. What do you think about the kaleidoscope effect and like the flying through dimensions?
I get it, but I don't like it.
But what else would you have done? The year's 1978.
I don't think there's that much else that could have been done. That's the thing. So, I mean, I respect it, I guess. Didn't age well at all.
I wonder what the other movie's going to do, the one we're going to watch from the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully that's better.
It's the next one we're doing. The Nameless One sock puppet spites Morgan for not slaying Doctor Strange on the 3 occasions she may have. Her only excuse is that she's still a woman and Strange attracted her. The sock puppet threatens to undo her magic, which would leave her old and barren until the end of time if she does not bring him the old man and kill Doctor Strange if she has to. What a horny bitch. What a thirsty...
I didn't kill him because he's hot.
You want to talk about Ghost Rider? This is the kind of like male-centric writing that reminds me of Ghost Rider. It's just like, I couldn't kill him because I'm just a woman. I'm so attracted to him, and I haven't had sex in 500 years.
That's fair, though.
Some of it is fair.
Some of it's fair. But, like, just find somebody that's not actively working against you.
Right. That's the thing. Like, if you're given 3 days to, like, you know, you got to kill a person, whatever. Like, this is a big deal to you. And you're like, well, that person's attracted, and I have not felt the touch of a man in 500 years. Why not just kill that guy and go find somebody else? You can go on Earth, clearly.
There's other hot guys out there.
There's so many other hotter guys. That's all I'm saying. But no, she's got to be so thirsty. She only wants Doctor Strange. I have not had the touch of man. I don't know if she says that. She says something.
That's the excuse for, like, not doing your sole purpose. All right.
Strange accompanies Clea from the hospital to her apartment while flirting and asks her out to dinner. This is so unprofessional. And they joke about how unprofessional this is, too.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't think we're allowed to do this.
But if I help you with your homework, it'll be a professional visit.
Also, weird. Although I
Yeah.
think he's a resident and she's a college student. They're probably no more than like 6 years apart.
Right. It's just the circumstances.
Yeah. He returns to the sanctum to see Thomas and rejects everything, despite traveling to other worlds and fighting demons. As a doctor, he doesn't wish to lose his logical objectivity. Thomas admits to Wong that he cannot force Strange to accept his path. On his way out, Strange sees a black cat at the door and assumes it belongs in the house and carries it inside.
What a weird thing to do.
Yeah, he's not like, hey, is this your cat? He's like, oh, let me let
You
you
must
in.
live here. What?
The cat transforms into Morgan Le Fay, who circumvents the magic barrier by being allowed inside. She battles Wong with magic and incapacitates him. So the effect where they're battling, because they do a small battle.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, Wong doesn't fight back. Does Wong fight back? Does he have magic?
Why do I not remember if he fought back or not? Or does she just zap him?
I think she sort of.
I thought
think
he fought back.
I think he fights back. I think he knows some magic because he's not. I think this movie also establishes him as not just like a valet. Like he is a student.
I think so. Yeah.
And he does magic. Anyway, I thought as far as like the 70s go, like the little laser effects are pretty good.
What about her transforming from a cat into a person again?
Was that good? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
We should have watched this movie seconds before we hit play because it's been like 4 days.
Yeah.
Steven arrives to clean. Nope. Morgan then walks upstairs and locks into battle with Thomas, who was fully expecting her and ready to battle in his sorcerer's robes. She defeats him and summons a hell beast to take him away. I forgot to check if this was the beast I liked or the other beast was the beast that I liked.
You were supposed to check which one was which.
Yeah, that's why
Yikes.
I wrote that. Anyway, I did not do that. I want to point out something here. Thomas's cool gold robes.
Why do you have to get dressed up in robes to fight?
Because it's a superhero movie. That's why.
I wonder if the robes like
Do
enhance
anything?
your magic or something.
Maybe. His gold robes, first of all, and then they look really cool. I'm not a fan of the pointy hat. I don't know.
It's a bit much.
So yeah, it's a bit much. It's a little KKK for me. And I know KKK used the pointy robes because of sorcery in the first place. So
it's inspired by sorcery. The Grand Wizard is the name of the leader. So.
Exactly. But they also kind of ruin it.
But also, like, why the fuck do you call yourself the Grand Wizard?
We're not going to get
What
into
do you actually believe in?
We're not going to get into the KKK. Yeah, they're all Christians too. It's weird.
I don't get it.
We're not going to give any sort of credence to the KKK on this episode. My point is, they're cool robes. His, not the KKK's.
You might want to censor the KKK just in case.
Why?
So we don't give them any credence.
Well, then how would people know what we're talking about?
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Fuck them.
Yes, we do not agree with them. Anyway, the gold robes are cool. Also, I looked into the Ancient One, and the Ancient One in comics is like never in gold robes, right?
No, he usually looks like a Fu Manchu type
Yes,
guy.
but he's usually in like purple robes, right?
Yeah.
With some gold accents.
Like a trim.
Yeah, like a trim. And then the only other time the Ancient One has been in gold robes is in Doctor Strange, the movie, 2016, with Tilda Swinton's Ancient One.
Do you think that was inspired by this?
Quite possibly. They look very similar.
Was Stan Lee a consultant on that movie?
No.
But
I think it's, I think it's one of those things where they're like, all right, we're going to reinvent the Ancient One because they did. They didn't want, the stereotype, right?
Right.
So they're like, let's look at all of his history, right? And this has to have come up. And they look at these robes and they're like, honestly, we could work with this. This looks nice.
The robes are kind of cool. And I know Kevin Feige says he kind of regrets like casting Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, but I think it was great casting.
I think it's fine. I mean, if we're going to talk about it now, it's a lose-lose. It's
no matter what you would have done, people would have been upset.
It's like what we said with
the Mandarin.
Yeah, the Mandarin. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. No matter what you do, it's going to be bad.
You can just do the best that you can.
Yeah. And so they decided to go with a white woman instead, like this Celtic woman.
Yeah.
And it's like
and that's fine.
And it's kind of a half measure. Like it's, at least it's a woman. Like, she's the powerful one now.
She's not a stereotypical Asian person.
Yeah, so there's something there. I mean, it's what do you want? You know,
and she killed it in the role, honestly.
Yeah, no, she's amazing.
She's great. She was also great in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, actually, Tilda Swinton is great all around.
She's a little odd. She seems odd.
Like, personally?
Yeah.
Oh.
Also the roles she takes.
Maybe. Sometimes, yeah. No, but she's a great actress.
Yeah, she's cool.
But anyway, yeah, I get the feeling maybe after looking at the whole body of work for Ancient One, they might have looked at this and been like, let's do these robes. And they gave her cool gold robes with the hood and the little trims.
Yeah, and you see her fighting at the beginning of the movie, wearing the hood.
Fucking badass. It was cool. It looks just like this. I'll put some pictures below for you guys to kind of compare, but I really think they took it from this movie.
I'm glad they didn't give her a pointy hat.
No, the pointy hat would be bad. Again, KKK vibes all around.
And it's like, it's clearly not, but also like it still feels.
Yeah.
It's
again,
weird.
they ruined it. They ruined it.
They ruined it.
They ruined.
Just like the Nazis ruined the swastika.
Yeah, but the swastika wasn't like popular. It was a thing.
It was a thing, and now
I think it meant peace or something too.
Now it doesn't.
No. There's a lot of talk about also if the swastika like normal, because they also tilted it. The Nazis.
They took it and they tilted it and they made it their own.
Yeah.
Just like how all the neo-Nazis took Pepe the Frog.
They really did.
they ruined him.
They took him from 4chan.
Yep.
We're talking about.
We're talking about Doctor Strange.
Wizards.
Grand Wizard.
Yes. Pointy hats. They ruined pointy hats on wizards for whatever reason. Did. Anyway.
Wow, we gave him a lot of credence.
Because I'm thinking, yeah, we really kind of came around. We threw Nazis in there too.
Damn it.
There's like you think of like Merlin. He's always wearing a pointy hat.
Yeah, but it doesn't look that bad on him because
I think it's not a hood.
Also, I think because like, it's Merlin. That's what he looks like.
Maybe I think it's because it's a hat instead of a hood. You know,
or Yen Sid from Fantasia.
I think,
which is just Disney spelled backwards.
Is that the wizard? The sorcerer?
Yeah.
Oh. I've seen Fantasia since I was a kid.
The one that's like, hey, Mickey, go do shit with those brooms. And he's like, oh, okay.
Mickey's like upset. It's the only time Mickey's ever been upset.
Yeah.
Steven arrives at Clea's apartment for their date. Sopping wet from the rain, he asks for a hot bath, but all she offers him is a beer.
I mean, hey.
Ladies, this is exactly why you meet first dates in a public location. He is trying to bite off more than he can chew.
But also, like, he is sopping wet.
Yeah, but no. He's not like, oh my God, I'm so wet. Do you mind if I use your bathroom and just kind of like,
oh no, he's bath? Like, let's take a bath.
She goes, can I get you anything? And he smiles. He's like, I'm all wet. I'll take a hot bath. Like, bro,
I think he was hoping she'd be all wet after that.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Y'all just meant slow your roll, buddy.
Also, you're her doctor.
That too. Also, this is like their first date.
Also, this is technically a professional visit because he's going to help her with her homework.
But they also kissed.
I'm confused.
Clea gets herself ready for the date, but sees Morgan in the mirror and screams. Morgan Le Fay offers Strange a deal. She'll spare Clea if he agrees to come with her into her world.
And he doesn't even hesitate. He's like, all right.
He's like straight up in love with Clea.
He's known her for minutes at this point. Most of the time he knew her, she was in a coma.
Yeah, I was kind of confused if, like, does he really like her or is he just being, like, a womanizer? You know, does he just want to get in her pants?
I think both.
A little bit of both, right?
Like, he is a womanizer, but I did get the feeling that he liked her specifically.
Oh, yeah.
To what extent? I don't know.
Right. Morgan Le Fay takes him into her realm where she asks if she is pleasing to him. She offers him wealth and power and gives him jewels and his iconic red cape. She kisses him, and although he pulls away, she lures him into a bed. They lie together, kissing until Morgan asks he take the ring off.
What a weak-willed man.
Yes, actually, because the reason, lest he forget, when he did forget, the reason he is there in the first place was because moments ago, he was like, yes, spare this woman I'm for some reason in love with. I will come with you. And then he's like, oh.
You're kind of hot.
You've got boobs. Her outfit was very low cut, a lot of cleavage.
Yeah.
And
Lucille.
Lucille. Lucille too. Nah, it's not her. Again, like Morgan's hot for Strange. Strange he's whatever, like he's down with it. He didn't care. He's gross. And like she takes him to this bed out of nowhere, and
did she conjure up the bed?
I think, yeah, it's like a magical bed.
Whoa.
She conjures it up, and they lie together,
and they make out.
And I'm like, God, this is
very PG.
This is a porno. It's the beginning of one, right?
Yeah.
Again, this is very this is male-centric writing. Like everyone wants to fuck the protagonist. She takes him where Thomas is tied up in magic vines. She demands he take off the ring, but Stephen has a change of heart after witnessing Thomas frozen, almost dead. She says, "Don't defy me, Stephen, or I'll take my pleasure another way."
She threatening to masturbate?
No, I think she's threatening to rape him.
Oh,
using magic.
He's going to be the one that pleases her no matter what, I guess?
Yeah. I'll take my pleasure. That's him.
Oh, shit.
Like, this is straight up like like sexual assault, by the way. She ties him up by the vines again, and this is also not good. She ties him up by the vines, but Strange begins to learn his powers and escapes. They engage in a psionic battle, and in a blink of an eye, Strange teleports himself and Thomas back to the sanctum. Morgan Le Fay is disciplined by the Nameless One, and he strips her of her youth, leaving her appearing hundreds of years old.
This is where he says, "You're going to wish you were dead."
Yeah. How dare she be old and ugly? In fairness, she's very old.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, this it got really creepy around this part.
Also, why did she take him to the same room that Thomas was being held in? Hey, this is your friend. He's my prisoner.
It was a weird flex, wasn't it?
It was a terrible move.
I think she wanted to show him her power. Be like,
he was already on board at this point.
He kind of was. She just needed him to remove his ring. So I think that's like the last of his protection against her. And then not only could they fuck and she could have her way with him, but she would have ultimate control.
She could also kill him right afterwards.
Exactly.
Like a praying mantis.
Like a black widow.
Or a black widow. Like a insect.
One's an arachnid. Anyway, yeah, it's very, this part of the movie is very rapey and it gets a little weird. But again, the puppet is the best actor in the movie. Not sure why. I wrote down here on my notes, hey, remember that Marvel movie where the villain tries to rape the hero?
Yeah, Stan Lee was a consultant on it. He said it was great.
What does that say?
Don't get me wrong, I love Stan Lee.
I liked some of the little, again, it's the 70s, low budget TV movie. You kind of have to cut them some slack. But I liked the battle that they had. It's just a lot of like, imagine like, like Harry Potter, but like
worse,
but like on $5. Like,
just like that's not going to sell many people.
No,
because there's people that already don't like the fighting in Harry Potter.
That's a whole nother tangent you're about to bring on.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's not do this right now. No, but like, it's just, I don't know, for the 70s, it's like, what else are you going to do? And I like when he tries to like do things to her. She has this iconic like cackle in this movie. Like, she's just like, ha 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 ha, like, you cannot hurt me. Which is, it's not great, but it's very,
it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. It's very, it's a prototypical kind of like, evil sorceress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Wong tries to attack her, she laughs and then like
destroys him.
Yeah.
Well, knocks him the fuck out.
And when Strange tries to use the spell that he was taught earlier, she laughs at him like that's just a measly little thing that's not going to do anything.
Child's
to me.
play.
Yeah. But then for some reason he learns magic anyway.
She's like an anime villain.
A little bit, yeah. Wong awakens, the spell on him now broken, and Thomas admits to letting Morgan defeat him. Yeah, sure, bro. In hopes she would lure Strange into accepting his destiny. Bullshit.
That's a high-risk move right there, buddy.
Again, I mean, he's not going to lose to a woman. Like, however, Thomas offers Strange a chance to make the decision himself. He describes the role of Sorcerer Supreme as becoming more of a man and relinquishing his earthly pleasures, such as the pleasure of ignorance or of offspring or an easy death.
You can't have kids?
I guess. I don't know. Stephen asks if he has to give up love, but Thomas says the universe is love. That is not what he meant at all. Stephen Strange, the womanizer, meant, can I keep fucking people?
No, it was, can I fuck my patient?
Yeah.
Please.
Stephen accepts his destiny and allows the ritual to proceed. An otherworldly voice we learn is the Ancient One, asks if he accepts the guardianship of the light and begins the transmutation. Strange is magically... It's just a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Strange is magically given a completely different costume that slightly resembles the original Ditko design.
I kind of like it.
If it had the cape.
It'd be better with the cool evil cape that he had earlier.
Yeah. Lightning strikes both Strange and Thomas, and they both fall to the ground. A giant white box appears from the ground that no one seems to notice. Wong informs Strange that he has all the powers, but no knowledge, and must train from the Ancient One.
And we never see the Ancient One.
No, the Ancient One fucks right off. He shows up as like a glowing light, and he's like, okay, and then he's gone. Did you see the box in the ground?
Yeah, nobody acknowledges it.
Nothing came off of it. Nothing was set on top of it.
It's just there.
And I'm like, are they going to do something about this box that just showed up?
I thought his cape was going to be in it.
Yeah, something. Just something. Like the eye of Agamotto was going to be on there.
The Darkhold.
Nothing. Nothing. It's nonsense.
Somebody might have just left it there.
It looked like they built this prop for a reason and then they forgot and they just didn't do anything with it.
There's a deleted scene out there.
Yeah, so on the costume, and I want to talk about it a little bit later. We usually do like costume talk, but ironically, they started him with the more well-known classic Doctor Strange costume, which is like blue with the red cape, and then they switched him to this blue and gold, which was closer to the very original design that wasn't kept for very long.
Yeah, but it sucks that he only had the cape when he was like agreeing to be evil.
Well, and also they gave him way too much shit to wear, like around his neck. Like the jewelry was ridiculous. It was gaudy, and he's wearing like 40 chains. He looks like a pimp. Look at him. Look at that poster.
That's why it looks like a porn.
It does.
Holy shit. Yeah, take a few of those chains off, it'd look a little better.
If it was just do the comic.
It was also the
eye of
70s.
Agamotto.
He had to be cool.
I guess that's cool.
Yeah, look how cool he looks.
Well, he gets transformed and he's wearing something different. He doesn't have all that junk, but he also doesn't have the red cape either. So
Right.
put the
that
red
poster
cape on.
also looks like it's like trying to get women to watch this show.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, look, this is Doctor Strange.
Look how sexy he is. That's the only poster that exists for this.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, it was a TV pilot, but
right, like they didn't.
It's weird that they had a poster at all.
A lot of these have posters, but like they weren't putting the posters on movie theaters or anything. So like, yeah, like
where was this? Was this in like the CBS studios?
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, we're working on
this
Boom.
Doctor Strange.
It probably would have been used as like promo art for the show.
Yeah, on magazines maybe, comic books actually.
Ooh, like a whole page of just that.
Yeah. Honestly, comic books are full of ads. They still are.
They still are. Yep.
And we talked about how they split the Ancient One into two characters for some reason. No need to do that.
Thomas
they didn't have to do that.
should have just been the Ancient One.
Yeah, for sure.
He was already very old. He knew Morgan Le Fay.
They kept on saying like, well, I think he knew of Morgan Le Fay from reading all the books and stuff he had read, but he was like hundreds of years old though.
He easily could have been the Ancient One.
Yeah. And again, in
they
the
didn't need
comics,
light.
he is the Ancient One,
Right.
so why even bother?
Yeah. Unnecessary addition.
Yeah. Doctor Strange is late yet again to the next meeting at the hospital. His superior scolds him, and the nurses stare at Strange as he takes Clea out for a walk instead of treating her in his office. On their walk, again, and Clea's forgotten all this again, by the way.
God, that poor girl.
I know. On their walk, they repeat their conversation from the previous day, her memory wiped yet again. He asks her on a date again, and they see Morgan Le Fay on TV. She's peddling a wellness program to unlock potential with a cult-like following behind her. Strange later encounters a street magician and conjures a dove in the unsuspecting magician's hands.
So she's like Arthur Harrow.
And
Doctor Strange is just fucking trolling a street magician.
That's kind of funny, actually. I like that bit. That's a good way to end the movie, I think.
I think that was a good ending, but I'm also like,
because the street
you're
magician,
confusing the shit out of this guy.
I
right
know,
now.
but he's just having a laugh. He's playing a prank. The street magician's also like, hey everybody, look at me. This is real magic. This isn't tricks, you know.
This
And
is sleight of hand.
yeah, and Doctor Strange was like, I'll show you real magic, because I think he's like,
I'm gonna get a flout dove. What?
Well, no, he says I'm gonna pull like a flowers or a rabbit or something.
He was pulling like flowers out of something,
Yeah,
but
and then it's like a bird.
it turned into a dove, and he's like, he looks confused as fuck. But then everybody like
Everyone's
starts
like,
applauding.
oh yeah. And he just has a laugh and walks off. Freeze frame.
that guy's gonna be so confused for the rest of his life.
End of movie.
So how did Morgan Le Fay come back?
Yes. And why is she young again?
Did she make another deal? Does she have another 3 days?
Yeah, she was punished. So like,
Is this like
what?
the show 24?
it feels a little bit like
Every episode's gonna be an hour.
Edge of Tomorrow, where
She respawned.
Strange respawned, because he gets to have the same exact interaction with Clea, knowing full well what all her answers are going to be.
True.
And he manipulates that a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a dick here.
Because he doesn't repeat all the same things. He kind of like takes a beeline
He says
straight
some of
to
the stuff
date.
that she said too earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Like he makes a joke out of the joke that she made about him helping her with her homework.
This is not a man you can trust with super magic powers.
He is.
He will abuse
he's manipulative. My God. Can you imagine if this Strange had the time stone?
Yeah, he would do Edge of Tomorrow. He would just do the same thing over and over again until he gets
Minus
it right.
the dying part.
Yeah.
This Strange would not distract Dormammu forever.
No. I feel like no one learns any lessons in this movie. Not a single character. Clea does.
Everybody's right back where they started,
Yeah.
except Strange, who now has powers.
He's still, but he's also back where he started.
He's back where he started with powers.
Yes, that's it. He didn't learn any lessons. He's still doing the same shit. He's still like,
And everybody's okay.
everyone's fine.
Not a single death in this movie?
No, of course not.
Whoa.
I thought Wong died. I was like, oh
I
no,
thought he was
Wong
dead
died.
for about-
No.
5 minutes.
But I forget that this is a TV pilot and they're going to want him as a recurring character.
So Wong's fine. Strange is fine. Obviously, he's the main character. Morgan Le Fay being fine is confusing.
Yes.
And I'm curious if that would have ever been answered on the show.
Probably. Because it seemed like they wanted to set her up as a recurring villain.
It was a little ominous.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
Yes. Because there is, and I love that in the 70s, well, this shit existed, that still does now, is like people manipulating and tricking
The simple-minded masses.
Yeah, and just like peddling a bullshit cure like a snake oil, you know?
Like Dr. Oz does all the time.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what she's doing. And everyone's like, yeah, like we're unlocking our potential. We gave her a lot of money. So
What was her wellness program, though?
all it said was she was unlocking potential.
Is she turning
And I
them
think-
into her minions? Probably.
And I think she was more focused on women also.
Whoa.
Because she was kind of surrounded by a bunch of young ladies.
She's gonna get a bunch of women to try and fuck Strange.
Oh, strange orgy. She's
She'll get that ring off somehow.
what's that actress's name?
Which one?
Pepper Potts.
Oh,
She's doing
Gwyneth Paltrow.
She's
with
doing
her,
a Gwyneth
with
Paltrow
her, with her goop
with goop. Yeah, that's what this was.
and her vagina scented candles.
Give me a lot of money and I'll give you scratch and sniff stickers that make you feel better, and they're each worth like $30.
And they smell like her vagina.
Some of them smell like vagina.
Well, I think it might just be her candle.
I think it's the
actually.
candle. She was selling
that's
scratch and
weird.
shifts, scratch and sniff stickers. They were like wellness stickers. So like you scratch and sniff, and they would make you feel
It's
better.
just psychological.
Oh, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's complete bullshit. It's paper.
It makes you feel better because you think it makes you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
better.
But I mean, she was selling them for like $20, $30.
It's a placebo.
Per
a
sticker.
gazebo.
It was just a gazebo effect. So yeah, no one learns any lessons. This movie.
The
did this need
hospital
to happen?
wants less people in it.
he doesn't learn to be on time. He doesn't learn to like manipulate women any less.
He doesn't
like,
learn to stop fucking his patients.
No. And even like Thomas is all like, oh yeah, like you have to have some sacrifices. He's like, no, I'm not sacrificing shit. I'm not changing a goddamn thing about my life.
I have the power now, man.
I love my life. My life is the
Strange
best.
is the villain.
He's kind of the bad guy.
Whoa.
A lot of people are on like the Strange is a bad guy train. Like
I want to see
he's
Peter
charming.
Hooten in Multiverse of Madness.
That'd be fucking hilarious. He's alive.
He could do it.
He was young. He was in like his like early 30s here. He looks young.
So he's probably what, like 70 now? 60?
I can look it up real quick.
I don't know math that well.
He's 71.
71. Oh.
He lives in Claremont.
Hey!
No, sorry. He was born in Claremont.
Oh, I was going to say, he doesn't live that far.
Let's go find him.
Peter.
Hold on, personal life. Also Sarasota. Also St. Augustine. This is Floridian.
Whoa.
Oh my God, we got a
He was in the original Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we got a Florida man on our... a real life Florida man.
Holy shit. And I don't think he's nuts. Or if he is, he's very good at hiding it. He was in 2020 Texas Gladiators in 1982.
Have you seen that movie?
Nope.
Oh.
He was in something in 2017. In Search of Steve Ditko.
So
archive footage.
Archive footage from this.
That's kind of cool.
Well, he was in these two things recently. Soul Eater and House of Blood.
House of Blood was 9 years ago. That's not recently.
Okay, we're talking about a movie from 1978. This is recent. 2013 is recent. Anyway.
He's a Florida man.
He is a Florida man.
What a cool guy. He looks so happy in that picture. He looks very Floridian there, actually.
He's a good-looking dude, honestly. Like, I kind of get it, but also, like, not everybody wants to fuck you. Anyway, that's the movie. Let's move on.
All right. He was 38 when he did Doctor Strange.
Oh, so he's honestly the same age as Jessica Walter.
Yeah.
Morgan Le Fay.
Okay.
All right, and analysis. We talked a lot about this movie when we were recapping the plot, but story. I think the plot is reasonable. I don't think it's bad. It's weird because it's like there's a movie within this movie, and it's the medical drama. And again, it takes about 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so.
Here's this thing, though. The medical drama part is the part where I was like, all right, I'm kind of into this. When it got magical, I was like starting to like fall off of it a bit.
Well, that's what I was expecting. So I think that's when I kind of perked up and I'm like, this is what I wanted. I wanted Doctor Strange.
Right.
I wanted fucking... I
did too, but when I got it, I was like,
1978, I was fully expecting this to be trippy and weird and psychedelic. That was what I was in for.
That didn't happen at all.
It sort of happened.
Like a bit.
Yeah, and so that's what I wanted. And I'm like, well, we got a little bit of it, but like it was a lot of medical drama for a long time. And if you were just to cut that part out and make that like an episode of a TV show, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. This woman, she's crazy.
The medical drama part.
What's going on with her?
Stuff. You know?
She's in a coma. Oh no.
Yeah. You got the supervising doctor, and you got the other doctor who's like, maybe you should just take it easy.
It was an episode of ER.
Yeah.
You remember ER?
A little bit. I didn't really watch it that much. It just takes so long to get to the magic stuff, And even within like normal movie plotting, like 3-act structure, like by the time he's talking to the doctor, that is first act stuff, and it happens in the second half of this movie. So it's a bit of a strange...
It's got pacing issues, especially for what was supposed to be like a pilot for a show. Well, you think you'd want to get into the meat of it kind of quickly.
Yeah. But again, we spent a lot of time in the hospital. I think maybe if they had found a way to do both simultaneously, I think that would have worked a lot better instead of just like, hospital, let's get all that out of the way. Now, magic stuff. Let's do this. And then we're going to jump back to the hospital for one more scene. I think if it had been more interspersed, like we're going to come back, like he's balancing his time between magic stuff and then back at the hospital.
Yeah,
and then
they
magic
should have
stuff and
had
back at the hospital.
They should have had Doctor Strange get seriously injured and then have to go to the hospital and have a nurse save him.
That'd be interesting. And then he's like, I want to be a surgeon, but they're like, you can't because your hands don't work. And he's like, but I'm the best. And he's like, no, you're not anymore. And then he's like, I gotta go find
find the cure.
Yeah,
I'll do whatever it takes.
Should have done that.
That would have been a better movie.
Well, Maybe, but they did not do that. You squeak so much.
This chair's so squeaky.
Stop moving. Just find a comfortable spot.
I've never been comfortable in my life.
Story. So you got anything else? What do you think?
I don't know if I can really add anything. I mean,
You like the characters? What do you think?
I do like the characters. I like
about Morgan.
I think she would have made a very interesting recurring villain, and maybe
same.
a possible love interest.
That'd been fun.
Whoa!
Some sort of love triangle, like developed over multiple episodes, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that he has to fight the person that he kind of likes. Whoa!
I could dig that. Yeah.
The other doctors kind of sucked.
Yeah, maybe less time with them.
They're a little one-dimensional.
But I think on a reoccurring basis, like on an episodic format, it would be interesting if he was seeing patients like at the beginning of every episode, but he can like psychically kind of see what ails them and use that to his advantage.
And it's always something supernatural.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean,
and that's
like,
why he's Doctor Strange.
I'm saying like he can read their minds basically, or maybe magically see what's wrong with them.
He can understand what they're going through better than they can.
Yeah, and like that makes him a better doctor because he's, I don't know.
Oh, so he's cheating.
I mean, it's not a game. It's treating people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think as far as
maybe something
like a weekly episodic TV show is concerned,
that's one of the better things that they could do
that'd
with
be
it.
an interesting gimmick to do on a weekly
also,
basis.
yes, because he's a psychologist specifically.
I think
was he a psychologist?
I think he's a psychiatrist.
He's a
doctor. Psychologist or
never
PhDs.
mind. Oh yeah, he's not that smart.
Well, it's not a matter of smarts. It's a matter of they're different studies.
He didn't take that track in school.
Yeah.
Does he have an MD?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know a lot about the medical world.
Clearly. Cinematography. Look, I honestly, there were some shots that really kind of impressed me. I really liked, again, in the Sanctum, when they're going up the stairs, there was a lot of like shots in mirrors.
Yeah.
I like that part. There was a nice setup where you see, I think it's Thomas, the old guy. He like goes up, he looks himself in the mirror, and then later you see Morgan do the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everything that happened in the Sanctum was good stuff. Because not only was it a good set, you also like, I don't know, I feel like you just had good stuff to work with in there too.
It was a good set.
Because it's not a blank ass hospital room, and it's not what's clearly like a Universal Studios set.
Yeah.
When they did the city.
Like
I think we can move on to the acting, honestly.
Peter Hooten is pretty good.
He's fine.
I think he's fine.
He's very like
he's
fine.
just very fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked him, honestly. I thought he was charming.
There was something he was charismatic in a way.
Yeah.
Even when he was being kind of creepy.
Yeah, he was a little creepy though.
He's more charismatic than like Nick Cage was in Ghost Rider, you know?
Okay, that's 3 Ghost Riders. You're done. Okay.
I bought that people would be attracted to him.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Jessica Walter was great. Again, her cackling was kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But in like a really like, again, I think she's hamming it up, you know, because she's like this TV sorcerer.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
so she's leaning into it. She was
definitely like just like kind of leaning into it, having fun with it, going all out. As much as she was in this movie, though, I feel like she didn't have that much to do. She's kind of just walking around, making faces and making things happen psychically.
Yeah, I mean, she's mostly staring, like watching.
Yeah, like that's most of what she's doing in this. I mean, like acting wise, not like character wise. You know, like character wise, yeah, she did a lot, but like acting wise, it's just her looking at something, kind of making like a face.
Yeah, she spends a lot of time. Again, she like in most of these scenes, she's just watching from like the shadows, like she's pretending to just be like a civilian a lot and like just seeing everything going on. But no, I liked her, and I would have, if there was like a season of the TV show, we probably wouldn't watch it. But like if we were here at the time, I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to see more of it. You know?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Wong is Clyde Kusatsu, and he is a very well-renowned actor. He has more than 300 credits.
Shit.
Because he's mostly only done guest stuff on all kinds of stuff. Film, TV stuff. and video games.
Wow.
He is kind of the go-to Asian actor in Hollywood. And he has been for a long time. So you've probably seen him in a bunch of other stuff.
Like as like an extra and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
or maybe not an extra, but like, like in one episode.
Like a one-off, yeah. I was looking at his filmography, and then there's like a couple things where I was like, oh, I guess I would have seen him in that, and I would have seen him in that too. The thing I found funny is that he, I mean, he's probably very well aware of this, but he gets cast in very stereotypical roles. And I counted, he has played a doctor 37 times.
Wow.
Out of those 37 times, he has played a character named Chang 5 times. Out of those 5 Changs, 3 of those were Dr. Changs. Those 3 Dr. Changs were played back to back to back. Like the same year, he played Dr. Chang in 3 different things.
Like completely different things?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Like 3 completely different TV shows. Right here, look at this. Look, I found it.
There's other names.
Look, I mean, he also played... Look, here's a character called Lieutenant Hand. He played twice in 2 different things.
Why was he a lieutenant in both of them?
He plays Dr. Chang in Baby of the Bride, and then also Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Oh, cool.
3 episodes.
He was in Captain Planet.
Yeah. So I would have seen that.
I would have too. Dr. Yamashita.
Dr. Zin. Dr. Robertson. Dr. Morsha. It's crazy. Walt Thornberry.
He was in Pepper Ann. Buzz Lightyear, Star Command. Malcolm in the Middle.
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Jackie Chan
this
Adventures.
man was in a lot of my childhood.
Justice League. Samurai Jack.
Even Stevens.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, What's New Scooby-Doo? You've seen and heard this man before.
He played Dr. Akira in What's New Scooby-Doo.
So, he's played a judge 6 or 7 times.
That's weird.
Judge. And it made me think, I'm like, God, like, do we stereotype, Asian actors in some of these roles? Like, give them all the...
You're going to be a doctor.
You're going to be a doctor. But it's also kind of like my dad's a doctor. I grew up in like these circles, and yeah, there's a lot of Asian.
A lot of them are just happen to be Asian.
A lot of Asians and Indians come here because there's just more opportunity, more money to be made after studying this, these disciplines. So is that a stereotype? Is it not? I don't know, but
yeah, it's better for them to come here if they're going to be making more money doing what they'd be doing over there anyway.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if I counted this one. ER, Review Doctor.
Hey, ER.
NCIS, Hawaii Five-0, Fairly Legal, Legend of Korra. He played additional voices.
In the episode The Voice in the Night. He was a
Which
new
one's that,
girl.
dude?
He played Judge.
A New Girl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's when she goes to court over a traffic ticket. I remember that episode. Scooby-Doo again. So, this guy's crazy.
What video games was he in, though?
Oh,
only 2.
only 2. He was in Spider-Man 3?
As the Dragon Tail leader.
I don't remember that mission.
Me neither. That's not the Morbius mission, is it?
Is a Morbius mission in Spider-Man 3?
In the PS2 and Xbox versions of Spider-Man 3, there is. In the Xbox 360 and PS3 version, there is not.
That's weird.
It's weird that there's more content in the older version of the game.
Anyway, yeah, he's Hawaiian Japanese descent. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
That's another thing. There's a lot of Hawaiian and Japanese descent like being mixed together.
Oh, yeah.
Which
sure.
makes sense geographically. So
action, there is none. I don't know.
There's some lights.
It's a lot of pointing like lights at each other, which again, I thought the effects were fine given the
given the time, yes.
You have once you kind of like fall into the era and you're like, all right, well, this is what this is.
This is an old movie.
It's an old movie. And
it's not even really a movie.
Yeah, you start to forgive the mustache and the afro and the effects and the settings.
That stuff becomes like not that distracting at all.
And then you're like, okay, given the time, this is fine. It's fine. It's not great. And today it's laughable. But at the time, it's fine. It's TV budget. What are they going to do? You know what I mean?
TV budget nowadays still isn't like all that compared to what movies can do.
You see some of the episodes of like The Flash. Like some of the shit they're doing is ridiculous.
And people love it. Max loves it.
The music, it's very 70s TV. I don't know what else to say.
Very porn.
And look, between the music and this poster,
like porn parody type
yes,
music. Like when you make fun of porn music, that's this music.
Yeah. Which is what that was, I guess. I guess that's where that comes from in the first place.
It's like a circle of...
Like now we know 70s electric funk music as like porn parody music. But that's what the parody was, you know what I mean?
Just the music back then.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're parodying.
That's what people liked, I guess. I don't know what causes trends.
Anyway, we talked about costumes. This was supposed to turn into a whole TV show. They did not pick this up. It was very low ratings. I think we talked about that up front.
It competed with Roots. Of course it was going to lose.
Whoa. So I think that's all I got for this movie. Let's move on to Keep or Cancel.
Yes.
Because I want to talk about Jessica Walter.
She seems cool.
Born in 1941, she played Morgan Le Fay. Died March 24th, 2021. That's last year at the age of 80.
Damn.
So it was just over a year ago. Yeah, I remember her passing.
Yeah, I do too.
Sad. I try not to be sad about these people that I don't know at all. But also, if they hit a good age, I'm like, well, then good for them. Like, no need to be sad.
Yeah,
they
had a really good run.
Yeah, dying at 80 is, to me, I still think I'm like, that's a little young. You should have lasted a little bit longer. But
in this day and age, yeah.
Yeah. When I see someone die at like 90 something, I'm like, no, good for them. Like, don't be sad.
Yeah, no.
That means they had a better life than most people.
Chances are they were probably ready to go.
Oh yeah. She's had 170 roles in film, stage, and TV. So I guess kind of similar to, we're talking about Clyde. Fuck, what's his name?
Clyde.
Kusatsu.
So
she started on stage, photo finish on Broadway. She won a Clarence Derwent Award for Outstanding Debut in Broadway Performance.
Is that different from a Tony Award?
I guess so.
I assume.
Otherwise, it would say Tony Award, Berta. So on TV, she's been in Love of Life, Naked City, East Side, West Side, Ben Casey, Route 66, The Doctors and Nurses, The Rogues, The Defenders, For the People, The Reporter, The Fugitive. None of these ring a bell.
Not the Defenders from the Netflix series.
They were public defenders. It's a law procedural.
They're not superheroes.
No. These are all TV shows from the 60s. So they're not any shows that I would be familiar with.
Wait, you didn't put fucking...
We're getting there.
Okay, all right.
In movies, also around that time, she got some acclaim for Play Misty for Me, which is a Clint Eastwood directed film. She was nominated for a Golden Globe for that. Also in the movies Lilith, Grand Prix, The Group, Bye Bye Braverman, Number One. I've never heard of any of those movies.
No, I haven't, but I'm glad she got nominated for a Golden Globe.
Golden Globe, yeah. So the two things I know her best, and I think most people would, especially today, would be Arrested Development.
That's definitely what I know her from.
Where she plays Lucille Bluth, the matriarch of the Bluth family. Always drinking, holding a cocktail. Yeah. Just rich and bratty and doesn't know the value of a dollar. How much could a banana cost, Michael? $10?
She is honestly...
She's amazing.
She's amazing in that show.
It's fucking incredible.
It's amazing how unlikable her character is, but also you want to see more.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Arrested Development, do yourself a favor. Watch the first 3 seasons. They're incredible.
It's one of the few things on Netflix to watch right now because they're getting rid of just everything.
Yeah. You know, Netflix is wondering why they're losing subscriptions. It's because there was a time when you were the only streaming network. That's why.
Yeah, now you're not. So,
now you're not.
Numbers are dropping because people are picking and choosing what they want to pay for.
And all the shows that you had before, you don't have anymore. Now, you mostly only have original content. And don't get me wrong, Netflix does make
Some of it's very good
original content.
A lot of it's not, though.
But they also don't have all the other stuff anymore. All that left.
Yeah, so there's no reason why Netflix should be more expensive than
all the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. Like I wish I could see how much time is spent on all my streaming services. It would be Disney Plus at like number 1.
I think Disney Plus is up there for me now,
and then it might be like HBO Max or like Hulu.
I think I'm like Disney Plus,
Netflix,
Peacock before Netflix for me.
No, there's not that much stuff on Peacock.
I gotta watch The Office. I gotta get my fix.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
That was one of the only reasons why I had Netflix.
I watched
in the first
Paramount
place.
Plus more than Peacock, I think.
Paramount Plus is one of the worst apps ever, though. Like design wise,
it's not a good app, and neither is.
They need to get somebody else to work on the.
You know what I watch a lot? Discovery Plus.
Is that good?
Yes. Are you kidding me? You like any home improvement shows? Any
nature
shows?
Don't they own DC now?
They do own DC. They own Warner Brothers now. Yeah. So.
Are we gonna get Aquaman on Discovery Plus?
Well, that's what I was wondering. What are they gonna do with HBO Max and probably nothing because they own HBO now.
Remember in Justice League when Aquaman littered in the ocean when he threw that glass bottle?
He'll probably come back and pick it up.
It's kind of fucked. I wonder what
Anyway,
Discovery thinks about that.
Arrested Development seasons 4 and 5. Did you watch those?
I watched season 4.
I cannot get through season 4, and I've watched both versions of it, and I can't finish either.
The second version is a lot easier to digest.
Yeah.
That season was weird though. And 5, I saw like half of it. They released like half the season, and I watched the half, and then they released the other half, and I just never got around to it.
Is it good? Season 5?
It's better than 4.
Oh, I might just skip 4 then.
4 is, it's so weird because they couldn't get any of the actors at the same. That's the biggest issue. They couldn't get any of the actors at the same time.
That sucks. Oh no, 4. Yeah, I knew that.
And that's why it was filmed the way it was.
So if you don't know, Arrested Development is a TV show from like 2003, right? 3 seasons, all-star cast.
I mean, the first 3 seasons are still the best.
Oh yeah, it's what's his name?
It's no contest.
No, who's the main guy?
Michael Bluth,
Jason Bateman, David Cross, Tony Hale. All great actors. Jeffrey Tambor, Michael Cera.
What's his face?
Oh, Batman.
Lego Batman. He was also in the Ninja Turtles reboots. Will Arnett.
Jonah Hex.
Yes, he was. Will Arnett.
He was
in Jonah Hex for some reason.
Yeah. Portia, what's her last name?
Portia
DeRosio?
Yeah,
it's
Ellen's wife.
Ellen's wife, yeah.
Yeah. Not at the time though.
I don't know. Actually, maybe not.
Portia DeRossi?
I think it's DeRossi or DeRossi.
Yeah.
Anyway, all-star cast.
Yes.
Great fucking show. Seasons 1 through 3. It was canceled after season 3. And then like a decade goes by.
I think
more than a decade. Like 12, 13 years. And Netflix picks it up so they can kind of come back and do some more stuff.
It was very exciting. It was one of Netflix's first originals, actually. Was
it really Arrested Development?
Kind of.
So
this was around the time they were experimenting with like making original shows.
Yeah, okay. So they for season 4 they do something quite experimental because it is an ensemble cast TV show, and how would that normally work is like you'd get an episode like most TV shows. An episode's got an A plot and a B plot, right? And you would transition back and forth from those, and you do that for an entire season. And every episode has its own kind of story in both plots. Season 4
it was weird.
Did all of the plots per character. So one episode was an entire season's perspective of one character. And then it'd be very confusing because you wouldn't know what the other characters were up to. Then the next episode, you'd get a different character's perspective.
Yeah.
And the more you watched, the more it all started coming together.
Which is interesting to try and do. It didn't quite work with this, though. Like, something wasn't landing. Like, I'm not going to say it was garbage, because I still enjoyed it. I had a few laughs.
Yeah.
But, like, something wasn't clicking there. And then eventually Netflix re-edited the whole season.
They top down. So they went back, re-edited the entire season.
You cannot watch it in its original format anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Unless somebody saved all the episodes, but...
Interesting.
Yeah.
So now when you go back and watch it, it's edited like a regular TV show again.
Yeah, but it still feels a little weird because
it feels disjointed, you think?
Because almost none of the characters are still like really interacting with each other. It's odd.
Well, because the family had kind of a falling out, and
that was like the plot.
Yeah. So you really see every individual member's kind of like their own path, and there is some crossover, but for the most part, they're doing their own thing.
Crossovers are really just like Jason Bateman and everybody else. It's Jason Bateman approaching people and then telling them that they're not in the movie anymore. Because I guess they were going to make a movie about the Bluths.
That's right. They're making a movie about them.
It got kind of meta because Ron Howard is in the season.
Yes. Because Ron Howard has been the narrator of the entire show.
Yes.
And you've probably seen memes about this. If you haven't seen this, because there'd be a lot of gags where like somebody would say
like, "Oh, I would
something.
never do that," and then you hear Ron Howard narrating. He goes, "He did."
Yeah. So then Ron Howard actually appears in the show, and they make a lot of references to his daughter, Bryce Dallas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a good show. And
I think it's a good show.
Even season 4 might be weak, but it's still
it has
fine.
that entire
it's good,
Fantastic Four subplot, which is funny.
Is that on 4?
Yeah. That's Tobias's plot.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's directly related to something that we're going to do.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's that movie and the actress from that movie.
Yeah. I love David Cross. He's so funny.
He's so
And Tony Hale. He's
hilarious.
awesome too. Anyway, yeah, everyone in this show is fantastic. However, I do have here about a bad experience that she had. In May 2018, Walter became part of an on-set controversy regarding harassment she said she had received from Arrested Development co-star Jeffrey Tambor.
From what I understand, Jeffrey Tambor is also kind of problematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was
in
like,
general.
Oh, yeah.
He's a bit of an oddball and kind of
During a cast interview with the New York Times, Walter was asked about an incident which Tambor had alluded to several months before. Walter teared up and stated, "In like almost 60 years of working, I've never had anyone yell at me like that on a set. And it's hard to deal with, but I'm over it now." While also noting that Tambor had apologized and had not done anything sexually inappropriate and that she would work with him again.
So this makes it seem like it was kind of just like a one-time thing.
I mean, I think he's a horrible
No,
person on set.
I
He
know
yells
that.
at everybody.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, man, he sounds like what's his name from Community and Christmas Vacation? Chevy Chase.
A real Chevy Chase. You know who else is that apparently?
Christian Bale.
No, Groundhog's Day. That guy.
Bill Murray. Something came out about that recently.
This week.
Yeah.
Apparently, like
He was,
Bill Murray
screaming at people.
Apparently, they're putting a project on hold because of how many complaints they've gotten about Bill Murray screaming at everybody.
My God, what is going on? It's all the old guys too.
Stop being dicks.
It's all the old guys.
Yeah, don't be a dick, okay?
And Christian Bale. Christian Bale had that breakdown on the Terminator set.
On the worst movie he's ever done, by the way.
Where he screamed at like
the worst movie
Right, but he was screaming at like the craft services people.
Well, I think it was like a grip or something. He got in the shot or he made noise during a scene. Anyway. Moving on.
We're not talking about Christian Bale.
During the same interview, co-stars Jason Bateman, Tony Hale, and David Cross were criticized in multiple media outlets for appearing to excuse Tambor's behavior without acknowledging Walter's experience. Within days, all three men had issued apologies to Walter.
What do they mean by excusing? Or they mean like just
like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like probably something like that.
Like kind of downplaying it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like you don't want to bring negative attention to your TV show that you're trying to sell. You want people to watch this in good faith. I get that where you're like, you want to brush this under the rug, you know?
The cast of Community didn't really say anything about Chevy Chase until after the show was done.
After they wrote him off.
Yeah, because Joel McHale had an interview and he was like, yeah, he was kind of a dick. Like everybody just bad energy.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You don't want to taint your product while it's ongoing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you also don't want to support this kind of behavior. Like, this is a workplace. Like,
and this is also a very like Hollywood thing that happens all the time. It's interesting that she said that she would work with him again, though.
I think that's just something she
said. Is that her just being polite?
Yeah. And then Archer. She plays Mallory Archer. And here's a fun fact. If you've ever watched these two shows, you might be aware of this. They are the same character. Lucille Bluth and Mallory Archer are literally the same character.
You were showing me a video comparing them, and they're
literally
doing the same thing.
They wear the same outfits. They act exactly the same. Obviously, they're both played by Jessica Walter, and they're both constantly drinking cocktails.
Yep.
Like morning to night. Every instance, they're holding a cocktail
and like kind of like spilling it.
Yeah. And then the creators of Archer pretty much admitted, like during her audition, that they were trying to make this. In her audition, they were heavily referencing Lucille Bluth in Arrested Development because I think they clearly just wanted that character in their show, even though they're completely different like settings it's the same character. Because one's like a super secret agent,
Yeah.
and the other one's
Super rich,
mom.
out of touch
Yeah.
mom. Yeah.
Both shows are great. Both performances are fantastic. I love that she just gets to be the same character. It's probably less work for her. It's also hilarious when you watch both shows back to back.
Yes.
So do that. And I think that's all I got on her. So keep, absolutely.
Yeah, she's
Fantastic.
She was a treasure.
Absolutely. I loved it. I loved her. Again, sadly passed. So not like this matters for keep or cancel.
She doesn't care.
We've canceled a dead person before, I think.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, we kept him, then we
Sean
canceled him
Connery.
the other.
Yeah.
Because we forgot that
we retroactively canceled him because
we forgot that he repeatedly advocated wife beating.
yeah, because it keeps them in line. Oh man.
All right, let's move on. All right, into the Phantom Zone. This movie, Birdo. Doctor Strange. What movie? Doctor Strange.
Doctor
1978.
Strange. 78. I'm gonna say yeah.
It's a tough one, right? Final thoughts.
It's
what
a
do you
little
got?
tough, but like, there's not a lot here that's like speaking to me, and I don't think besides like the gold robes that we see in the 2016 Doctor Strange movie, there's not really a lot here that led to anything. And also, we kind of already forgot about this movie, so
Yeah.
are we really losing anything by putting in the Phantom Zone? I don't
No.
think so.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're supposed to find the hidden gems. You don't think this is a hidden gem?
I don't think it's really a hidden gem. I think it's just. Don't get me wrong; it's not the worst thing I've seen. It's better than Catwoman.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But no, there's nothing special here for me.
I think it's fine, and I think it was probably just fine in the 70s also. Like, this is just, again, like, it doesn't know what it wants to be because it doesn't start doing magic stuff until like 45 minutes into the movie anyway. There's a whole...
Yeah, by that point, we don't have much time left.
No, right. There's a whole medical drama here, and like, I get that they were like, we can't fill up a whole movie with like magical special effects. Well, then you probably shouldn't be making this movie in the first place. It's my thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're like, what was the plan? Were you going to fill up the entire show with medical drama? Like every single week was going to be mostly medical drama with a little bit of magic? Like I said, that might have worked if it was more balanced, but it wasn't. It was mostly medical drama.
Or it just starts off with him in the hospital and he is late for a meeting because he has to leave and do magical things.
Yeah, but maybe he makes everybody forget.
Oh, wow.
Again, he would manipulate. He would definitely
Just like
abuse his
Spider-Man.
powers. So that's what I'm saying. Doctor Strange is always abusing his powers.
Right.
In the new movies, too.
But this Doctor Strange is doing it like willy-nilly, it seems.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this woman
Yeah.
who's also my patient.
Sure.
And I'm going to fuck with the street magician.
So I'm on the fence because I think this movie's fine. And this is one of the things where it's like, if you like this kind of thing, like if you like looking at the old stuff that, you know, may have informed the new stuff, comic books and superheroes, you might like this. You might take some level of enjoyment out of it. It's like, I didn't think this was a waste of time at all. I'm glad I watched it.
Almost looking at it as like just a piece of history.
Yeah, exactly. And I might watch it again with that same kind of mindset. I think it's technically better than maybe the Captain America ones, but I think it's a lot less fun than the Captain America.
because the Captain America movies I like actually enjoyed watching. This one was
but I thought they were worse though.
maybe quality wise, yeah. But
So-
this one felt more like a slog to get through.
Maybe, yeah. So I'm kind of like, where do I stand on something that I think is technically better, but not as enjoyable as this other thing that I kept? Like, where's my line, you know?
Well, I mean, if you want to go that way, Joss Whedon's Justice League is technically better than all of these. But we hate that movie.
No, I think story-wise, that's way worse. Anyway, I think I'm leaning towards Phantom Zone.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm going to fall, but I'm like, it's very close. Again, it's a piece of history.
Would this be one of the ones that you maybe go back and save?
No, probably not. Here's the thing.
You're going to forget about it by the end of the year.
I forgot about it. This was 4 days ago. I've forgotten half this movie. If they had made like a full season and we watched it and it grew on me, I'd be like, oh, actually, you know what? Maybe not. But that's not the case. This never got picked up. So that's all she wrote.
This was a failed pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. I think that's pretty much it. Berto, what movie are we doing next time?
I almost said Dr. Morbius.
Dr. Michael Morbius, your friend.
Dr. Mordred.
Dr. Mordred.
What year was that?
I
90?
think it's 92 or something.
All right.
I think it's available to rent.
I purchased the DVD.
I think you can rent it, though, anywhere. And that is a movie that was going to be a Doctor Strange movie, but they lost the license. They didn't make the movie fast enough. And so
they just changed the names and kept making the movie anyway.
Yeah, instead of scrapping it, they're like, fuck it, change all the names.
That's what that Fantastic Four movie should have done.
Yeah. Well, no, because they lost the license. Like, the license is not theirs anymore.
Yeah, they already made a Fantastic
But they were already,
Four.
like
They
already
did,
had
like,
some
press
momentum.
tours for it.
For Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
We should do that next, actually. Anyway, so they just made the movie anyway. They changed all the names. It's called Dr. Mordred instead of Doctor Strange. But it is a Doctor Strange movie. That was what the basis of it was. So that's why we're watching it. But that will probably come out after
our review of Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, that'll probably come out after Multiverse of Madness.
Well, it gives me a little time to relax and watch whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in the Doctor Strange mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for us, you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks to that piano dude for a musical intro. Make sure you guys leave a rating and review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Please tell a friend. And if you've told a friend, thank you so much for telling that friend. You can find us on Instagram, Films from the Phantom Zone. You can find us, argue with us on Twitter, Films from PZ. We are at TikTok at Films from PZ. If you want to support the show, you can do that on Patreon. That's linked below, Films from the Phantom Zone. And that's where you can listen to our second podcast called Where's Mephisto, where we scour streaming television in search for the ultimate puppet master, Mephisto, because he's there.
He's everywhere.
He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Anyway, there'll also be some other things there on our Patreon. So again, link below. And you'd be supporting the show. You'd be buying us all our equipment, keeping the lights on, that sort of thing.
Eventually.
Yeah, after a long time. All these episodes are available on YouTube if that's how you like getting your podcast. And we stream this on Twitch every week. We've got a live chat going on. They've been derailing us for hours. If you want to hang out with us in real time while we make the show, you can do that. We record them all on twitch.tv/filmsfrompz Monday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We've had people in the chat from Caleb, 12 something or other.
I think it's 1, 2, 3.
Good friend Philly to the J. We've also had Maxwell Mania, Blake Duck 4. Why is he 4?
I don't know why he does what he does.
And also Summer. We had some people in the chat here having fun with us, derailing us. If you want to do that, just be a part of the show, come hang out with us next week. We do this every Monday. And sometimes some random other times too. Another way to be in contact with us is on Discord. We have a Discord server that's always popping off. We talk Star Wars, Marvel, DC, video games, music, everything you can think of.
Just hang out and talk virtually.
Yeah, that's linked below. Anybody can join Discord. It's absolutely free. So do that. Come hang out with us. And other than that, we will see you next week. Probably.
Maybe.
Doctor Strange review. I think that's the next thing.
I think that's how the timing works.
That's what we'll see you on. But thank you again and goodbye.
Bye.